There's been much focus on and discussion from Infor on the cloud for several years now, which I'm certain you've probably heard. And this is probably familiar to you as well. With Cloud Suite, there are several different components. I'll just run through these very quickly. The artificial intelligence platform, which is known as Infor Coleman. These are tailored enterprise artificial intelligence solutions. You have the analytics component, which includes Infor Burst. Burst is a native cloud business intelligence and business analytic platform. You also have network, that's for commerce and Internet of Things. So for cloud, you have industry-specific cloud solutions with built-in industry expertise. These are integrated solutions in a multi-tenant cloud infrastructure. And for discrete industries, Infor offers different cloud suites. One is for aerospace and defense. They have the Cloud Suite Automotive. They have Cloud Suite Industrial Enterprise. This is for industrial machinery and equipment and high-tech and electronics industries. And you also have Cloud Suite Industrial for industrial manufacturing. The last component you see is the Infor Operating Service Platform. This slide goes into a little more detail about the cloud and what comes with it. So depending on the subscription license purchase, you receive different solutions as part of your package. When you get a subscription to the multi-tenant environment for Cloud Suite Industrial, which is used as an example here, the base solution includes Infor Cloud Suite Industrial, Infor OS, Burst for Cloud Suite, Factory Track, and Infor LN Analytics. Infor Cloud technology are built to work hand in hand with AWS. Of course, with AWS, you get the reliability and the security and scalability that you need to trust your business to cloud-based software. So on the right-hand side, looking at the AI and analytics component, you have the business collaboration and analytic tools. Also, with Infor Data Lake, you have consolidated data available to leverage AI technology, your business intelligence tools, your analytics, and machine learning, etc., to work smarter. On the LN core capability side here, with the LN Cloud Suite, you have robust capabilities, and of course, Infor continues to enhance the software. For optional, there are numerous other applications that are considered optional and can be delivered by Infor as an integrated solution. On the bottom right is the Infor OS platform. This is the next generation enterprise technology platform Infor created to run their own cloud-based solutions. So with Infor OS comes a number of tools and technology. For example, you get extensibility. We'll go through this in greater detail. Unified UX for user experience. Infor has its own design agency, Hook and Loop. You might have heard of that. We've got the ION technology stack, which is the middleware for integrations. Localizations are available to satisfy country-specific requirements. And also the Infor document management solution is on the OS platform. And Data Lake is used for capturing and maintaining all of your raw enterprise data in a unified repository. And Mongoose, which is not shown here, but that is a part of the OS, and that is their development platform. Infor OS plays an important role for many aspects, whether you're on the latest version of LN on-prem or in the cloud. Actually, Infor calls OS their secret sauce. Okay, so looking at the options, one option is to upgrade to LN Cloud Suite. This is currently 10.7. Infor recently stated that LN 10.8 will be released sometime during the second half of 2021. It's important to note that all new functionality released by Infor is first put into the cloud version and will then be included in the next release schedule of LN for the on-premise version. So going to the cloud does have many benefits and is the right solution for many customers. The greatest benefit is that this will be the last large upgrade project you will ever need to do. For cloud, Infor delivers automated monthly updates and biannual major releases, which are done with near zero downtime. There is zero cost for technical upgrades, and software upgrades are included and done by Infor on a regular schedule. All the resources needed and equipment, in fact, needed to get you up and running are handled by AWS. So to operate in the cloud, you only need minimal IT involvement. This would be great for organizations that don't have the internal IT skills, or nowadays, or even companies that want to transform their IT and repurpose their roles and hand off the day-to-day application maintenance to Infor. So because new features are parameter driven, they can be previewed with a feature toggle switch, which allows you to preview the new features. Then you can decide which one you actually want to implement. With the Amazon Elastic architecture, the system uses only required CPU and memory required for your specific needs. And of course, billing of these services is based only on what you actually use. AWS provides high availability of your software, and all the Infor products are spread across multiple AWS availability zones to optimize fault tolerance and reduce any risk of downtime. So what they do is they take a real-time replication of your cloud data, and if there's a failure in one AWS zone, you are automatically switched to another zone. Of course, with increased uptime, you will gain higher productivity. So another benefit of the cloud environment is that you don't have to worry about security aspects. Multiple levels of security is completely handled by AWS and Infor. It's actually quite robust. AWS and Infor handles performance optimization, monitoring, patching, upgrades, integrations, testing. Basically, all that is part of the cloud services. So let's talk about the option to upgrade to the latest version of LN on-premise. So an advantage of staying on-premise is that you maintain greater control of your ERP environment. You maintain the infrastructure in-house, you support the application, you do the application maintenance, manage the software updates internally. You are also responsible for handling all security aspects of your network and your environment, actually. So hardware and software failures, those are managed internally by you as well. And importantly, you must keep up with any database and infrastructure upgrades required to keep your application running. Otherwise, you will run into some serious issues, and we've seen that. So new software functionality is available only when you upgrade to the latest release. That means software upgrades are managed by you and are done based on your own internal schedule. Of course, software upgrades and testing do require time and resources. For on-prem customers, you've already made the investment upfront to establish your architecture, where you purchased all the necessary hardware to run your software. However, oftentimes your infrastructure is actually underutilized. Another thing is that scalability is manually configured to support increased demand, and we often see that this is typically oversized. So with ever-changing business needs, static sizing results in higher costs. By upgrading your ERP on-premise, you will continue to control your environment. You will have the newest software capabilities available to you. Of course, there's a cost that comes to having direct control and managing your own environment, but you have a lot more freedom. I just want to point out here some key LN capabilities that were added by release. I thought it was important to note that there's really a complete LN cloud and on-premise roadmap. Infor really does continue to make significant investments in these solutions. As you can see here, Infor added many capabilities that are both in cloud and on-premise. And they also continue to add new functionality specifically based on industry needs and also based on client feedback. So for LN Cloud Suite, they've recently added over 350 enhancements. So there's definitely cloud momentum. You can see in 10.5, there's quite a bit of new functionality that was added. One major enhancement that was added in 10.6 was actually a full-blown multi-site capability. This has been anticipated for quite some time. In fact, as far back as during the Baan days, there's been some requests for this type of functionality, and Infor has now delivered it to LN customers. In fact, Inavista has implemented this functionality for a customer already. So If you were a customer on 10.2, say, and you've not kept up with new functionality, all the new capabilities listed on the slide that became available in versions 10.4, 5, and so forth are available. When you upgrade from 10.2 to 10.7, you get all this new functionality. So when you move to Cloud Suite, you automatically get the latest, greatest version of all the new functionality. Infor continues to provide the periodic updates to the cloud, and of course, this is done automatically. And you're always on the latest, and you always have the newest capabilities. For on-prem customers, the new functionality is delivered to you every 6 months or so, well, depending on the Infor defined schedule. All right, so another option is you may consider to stick with your existing system. So to stay with your existing version is usually most attractive to customers that are satisfied with the current functionality, or you just want to limit the expense of moving to a new version of LN, or you simply want to limit disruption to daily business operations by undertaking an upgrade. If you remain on Infor maintenance for older versions of LN, you will receive only limited support at a premium cost. Of course, there's uncertainty of the future direction on hardware and database support, and I'd say even future direction of the older versions of the product. If you drop maintenance altogether, you'll not be entitled to future license upgrades. So by standing still means that you're really not taking advantage of emerging technology or new functionality or even new industry-specific best practices. Although the limitations of your current systems may have survived for some time, you will eventually reach that breaking point where you simply can't continue with the old system. So it's inevitable that end of support is going to drive some change for you. If you're still running a legacy Baan or LN system, you'll need to consider upgrading to either the newer version or to another ERP solution at some point. Hopefully not. Eventually, Infor will no longer support or certify older versions of the software or the older hardware or even the older databases. And another option is the consideration of migrating to a different solution altogether. So this is known as the rip and replace. Typically, this is a much more expensive option. You would be required to pay the license fees of the new ERP product, and that's for either on-prem or cloud. You will incur the implementation costs and, of course, significant training costs. So going with this option, you'll need to define your key decision-making criteria and your complete requirements up front. You probably are going to end up going through an evaluation process with ERP vendors to measure their software against your defined criteria. This is usually quite an involved process. Obviously, new skills and additional training would be required. So implementing a new ERP does require also significant focus on change management. This is a huge, important factor to consider. Another thing is that obviously a new system means changes to the way people do their daily jobs. Could be a long learning curve, and it can take some time for new process to become routine. But until then, it may create some production inefficiencies. You also would need to do a complete retooling of IT's ERP skill set. This can be very disruptive to business operations. Your current testing as well as your training infrastructure is going to need to be redone completely. And also it's imperative that you do develop your comprehensive data migration strategy for how you will migrate legacy Baan data. And you really need to have a good understanding upfront or on how you will handle the historical data. So bottom line, when you're dealing with implementing a new system, it's not only costly, but it involves a lengthy process of consulting, implementing training, data migration, and change management. So usually pursuing this approach is starting over from scratch, and that means that your ERP investment made to date is probably going to be throwaway.